Hi all, Hipper here. So the time has finally come. Today I actually got my Colbert and well, don't forget to subscribe, like and share if you enjoyed this video, guys. And this has been one long voyage because that ship was made available to me as a rental back at Christmas, and then again I had it for a few weeks about a month ago, but never really been able to actually say, okay, the ship is now mine. And not until today, because the ship is now mine. I finished the bureau and the ship is in my port. I've set it up, as you can see here, the way I want it to be set up, at least for now. And I may not be as fascinated with this ship as I was back at Christmas time, because, I mean, let's be honest here, the game has evolved during that time, and there's just a lot of things have happened, and lots of other interesting ships have come out. So Colbert has lost some of its shine, and to be honest, I still prefer ships like Wichita or Edinburgh over Colbert. But Colbert has its own charm in the fact that it's like an HC slinging Minotaur, really, just without radar and torpedoes, which makes it not even a Minotaur at all. But it's its own thing, and it may not be the best carry ship in the game, because I really think this ship is lacking a radar, and I really think it's a major downside to it, to be honest. And like I said in the beginning, this has been one long voyage here, because never in my wildest imagination would I think that I would have to wait until the beginning of September to actually be able to own this ship and play it anytime I want to. But that's the reality, people. The ship was made available as a rental, I believe, in just around Christmas. And here we are, 9 months later. 9 months. And the ship has been made available again, exactly as it was back then. In its original form, nothing has been changed. So I don't understand what took 9 months. I understand that we shouldn't, be given like 10 legendary ships every update, but at least one would be nice. And there's definitely no need to hold the ship back for 9 months when you're not going to change anything about it. It's a little bit of a mystery to me, and like I said, it doesn't really matter that much anymore, because, well, the game has moved on. We've got ships like Des Moines in the meantime, and I've had the opportunity to play Minotaur a lot more, and yeah, I mean, those ships are both better ships than Colbert, let's be honest here. Colbert is fun on its own merits. I mean, it's a fast, agile, HE slinging ship, and that's pretty much what you get. And yeah, I know it has 32mm armor, but that armor is theoretical. In my opinion, Des Moines is far more durable than Colbert is, which is weird, because Des Moines has 27mm armor. But it just goes to show that numbers are just numbers in this game here, and because of what I'm assuming is because of the gigantic superstructure of the ship here, it just, well, it eats damage quite easily. Even if you are, bow on or stern on, I mean, if people just aim at your superstructure, well, you are going to take a lot of damage, and you only have 36,000 hit points. So that means that just a few superstructure penetrations from a legendary battleship, that's going to hurt a lot and really be a problem for you. You do get 4 heals in the ship, but they're not very good heals. They're kind of meh heals, to be honest. And without a radar, it's kind of difficult for this ship to really, make a difference, especially in domination battles. And I think that no legendary cruiser should really be in this game here without radar, because it's just a necessity at that level. And the fact that Colbert doesn't have one is just really a downside to the ship here, I think. It doesn't change the fact that it's kind of fun to play, but on the other hand, if you want to play a really agile cruiser that at the same time can actually do useful stuff, then play Wichita. Even the new Wichita, not the CE version, is preferable to Colbert, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, the ship is now in my port, and I haven't played it yet, which is also another sign to, you know, the fact that the game has moved on. Colbert was new and interesting and unique back at Christmas. Now it's just a worse Minotaur, really. So should you be kicking yourself if you didn't spend the steel to actually research the Colbert? No, you shouldn't. You can just research the Minotaur instead, or Des Moines instead, and you might actually have a better time, actually, because in my opinion those are both more fun ships to play. And if you really want to play an agile cruiser in the same way I'm doing here, then play Wichita. It's just better overall, really. Colbert is a bit of a one-trick pony here. I mean, it sets fires, and that's about it. There's really nothing else this ship is good at. Now, I realize perhaps putting a radar on the ship is going to make it too powerful, but then change the sonar to, let's say, a 6-kilometer sonar. Something like that. At least it will open up like more utility for the ship here, because like I said in the beginning, as it is right now, it's not a very team-oriented ship. It's kind of fun to play, yes, but Wichita is just a better ship overall as an agile cruiser. And Des Moines, if you don't want to play agile, then play Des Moines. That's a better ship as well. If you want to play an agile legendary cruiser, I suggest you play the Minotaur with a radar build, because at least that ship actually can make a huge impact on the battle by, you know, getting into really sweet spots with an agile build and that radar. And also torpedoes, of course. Another thing Colbert is missing, which like that makes it hard to push in this ship. And also, again, without a radar, there's really no point pushing in, because there isn't much you can do. I mean, even if you push in to an island in a cap, and all you can do is sit there, because you can't really use your radar to spot any destroyer spotting you, and the sonar is just not good enough to actually be of any use in that situation. So it's a you know, long range or medium range HE spamming cruiser, and we have a lot of those in the game already. This one is different because it's very fast and very maneuverable. I mean, especially compared to something like Kutuzov or Cleveland, Montpellier, all that stuff. It's a entirely different play style. But also remember, some of those ships actually has a radar, and Colbert does not get a radar. And yeah, I'm just not too happy with that choice. Colbert does its best work in capture the base battles, where there's no real incentive to push in, at least not until about halfway through the match or something like that. In domination maps, like I said in the beginning, it's a little bit of disappointing ships, I think, for those battles, because yeah, that radar is just missing, and it's just such a downside. So every time I play the Colbert, I miss having a radar, and it just makes me pretty much always pick either Minotaur or Des Moines instead, or I go down to tier 7 and I play the Wichita. And it's kind of a shame, isn't it, that this ship here is just yeah, just not living up to its reputation, because Colbert has this crazy reputation of being like an unsinkable cruiser that just sets fires everywhere and carries teams like nothing, and that nothing is further from the truth. This is a mediocre ship, I think. Like, yeah, you can do some nice damage in it, but those battles where you are able to do a lot of damage in Colbert, you should be able to do even more damage had you been in Minotaur instead. So yeah, it's a bit of a mystery. Instead, I am going to start looking forward to the French tier 8 cruisers, and of course the Italian tier 8 cruisers, and the Italian legendary cruiser, which we don't have any of yet. I'm kind of assuming it'll be the Venezia, and again, that's another legendary cruiser that, if PC is anything to go by won't get a radar, and I probably won't even get a sonar. So I'm not sure I will enjoy that one a lot either, which is again a shame. We might get another French legendary, and we definitely will get a French tier 8. But the way the tier 8s have been panning out lately, I'm not putting a lot of faith in that ship. It's probably going to be Henri 4 or something like that, or Saint Louis maybe. And yeah, I mean, if any of the other tier 8 cruisers is a guide, then the tier 7's going to be a better ship overall anyway. Simply because the tier 7s have been buffed for 2 years now, because they were facing legendary ships all the time, and the tier 8s are just pretty much coming as they are, or as they were meant to be. And that just makes the tier 7s superior. Just take an example, like something like Rune, for example. Sure, it's an okay ship, but any battle I would rather be in Hipper than Rune. Trust me on that one. And same thing with the Russian cruiser. I would rather be in Chapayev or Kutuzov than that tier 8, really. Yeah, I just don't see the appeal of tier 8 at the moment. The battleships are nice. I mean, Republic, excellent battleship, probably the best in the game in my opinion. Musashi, also really, really nice. But the cruisers and the destroyers, there's just something missing there. Because yeah, other than Delny, I don't really see any of them. Oh, and L&M Sumner as well. I don't really see any of them having any sort of pull or draw, really. The ship here is, you know, in its element in a situation like this, where you only have like a handful of ships left on the red team, and you can just, you know, chase battleships to the end of the map and just constantly setting them on fire. It's like triple fire over and over and over and over, and there's really nothing they can do about it. You see, in a minute this guy's gonna shoot at me, but at a distance of 13 kilometers in an agile cruiser, there is absolutely no way he's gonna get anything out of that, especially shooting at a Colbert. So yeah, in that way, yeah, it's fun. But the problem is that up until that point, which is about 10 minutes of the game, you're pretty much just, you know, left to your own devices, because you can't really cap, you can't really hunt destroyers unless someone else spots them for you. And, you know, setting battleships on fire early on in the battle is quite risky when there's still 9 ships on the map, because Colbert is a prime target, like I said earlier. So that's pretty much my opinion on the ship. On the other hand, though, any new addition to the legendary tier should be celebrated, because there's still far too few legendary ships, I believe. And another cruiser is a good thing, but we just need more. We need like 3 of each for each nation, I would think, including carriers, and we are nowhere near that yet. So hopefully in the future, yeah, we'll get more ships at legendary tier. Really, that's what we want, and kind of dial down the tier 8s, because like I said, so far they've been pretty mediocre. So I'm sure the next question some of you might have is, well, will Colbert be available again in the future? And I have no idea. I'm assuming it will be. I'm kind of betting it'll be available for Christmas, but that's just like a total personal thought. And, you know, I was so wrong on when this ship would actually be available in the first place. So, well, it could be years, who knows. It was available for Steel originally because Wargaming wanted to limit how many Colberts are out there. And I mean, that makes sense, true. We don't want too many of these AT spamming ships here, because that's just not going to be good for the game. But then on the other hand, why have this mechanic in the game then if it's not good for it? But that's another that's another question, another discussion for a totally different video. My guess is still that it'll be available around Christmas, New Year, something like that. And I don't know how it'll be available. Maybe it'll be for doubloons, like I'm guessing 30,000 doubloons, probably what the legendary ships will cost. I don't know, haven't been any available for doubloons yet, I don't think so anyway. But again, I cannot say for sure, it's just a total guess from on my side here. But then, on the other hand, you don't really need this ship. Yeah, I said it. I mean, a lot of people think that I totally love the Colbert and just, you know, have been waiting for this ship forever, and yes, I have. But like I said, once I got my hands on it again last month, I kind of remembered the downsides of the ship here, and there are many downsides. There's actually a lot of downsides to it, and like I said a few times now, the radar being the main one. So yeah, if you don't have this ship, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. If you want to play an agile cruiser, play Wichita. It's as simple as that, really. Or Minotaur. And if you don't want to play an agile cruiser, then play the Des Moines. It's really simple, really. There is no pressing need to research the ship here and add it to your collection unless you really want to, you know, collect every ship in the game. Because although I am a big fan of Colbert, I recognize its shortcomings, and because of that, I'm not going to use it very much. Because like I've said a lot in this video, I'm going to play Minotaur instead, I'm going to play Wichita instead, I'm going to play Des Moines instead. Especially if I'm in a division where I have people relying on me, I'm not going to play the Colbert. Other than for the fun of it with, you know, other agile cruiser aficionados. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you out there.